Today I am pretty excited because I am going to bring in one of our brand new Christmas sets. And it's a suite, and so you have the option of purchasing the entire suite, which comes with 2 stamp sets, 2 sets of dies, some beautiful designer series paper. I'm not allowed to show you in the catalog yet. We're not allowed to show inside the catalog until our customers actually, the sales start, which is August the 3rd. So I can't really show you, and I can't remember what else came in this suite, but it's a beautiful bundle and it's all about pine cones. I can show you the stamp sets though, and I can show you the dies, and I can show you the paper. I can show you the physical products. I just can't open up the catalog. So I'm trying out a new little gadget that I purchased on Amazon. It allows me to now look at you face to face, and then I will be moving it onto my desktop so you can see my stuff. Okay. Hi, Barbara. Nice to see you. Okay, so welcome, and I'm going to move the camera now. Okay, so as I said earlier, I want to introduce you to a brand new set of stamps and dies that are in our upcoming holiday catalog. So these 2 stamp sets, you can buy them individually, or you can buy them as an entire suite that comes with some other products. So this is called Christmas Season, and it's all brushed, sort of watermarked designs. All right, so the one stamp set, as I said, is all kind of, it was all brush watercolored by the designers. And so these are the stamps, they're photopolymer. And I think I had mentioned once before that they now print the stamps on the back of this insert here. You see how they're printed on the back. And so what you can do then is take them off. They all come on a plastic sheet. The stamps will come on this plastic sheet. I don't know if you can see that. So you can take them off that plastic sheet then, and you can stick them directly to the back of the stamp case. And so I just love that. And this is only for the photopolymer stamps, okay? If they do the red rubber stamps, which they actually manufacture in the United States right at their factory, then they're the same as they were before, okay? So I put my labels on here, and I absolutely love this greeting stamp set because of the mixed font. You've got sort of some handwriting font with some non-serif fonts in there. It's kind of fun. So then you get a set of dies with the words, and they make these amazing backgrounds. I haven't really used it yet, but look at this large die. I can't wait to try this out, especially if you do it maybe in gold or silver. Boy, that's really stuck down. Anyway, I won't take it off now, but it's one huge die, and it's basically foliage. And then I believe you can stick the pine cones inside. So like I said, I haven't played with it, and Stampin' Up! Hasn't released the video yet, so I'm not sure how it works. But then it's 2 sets. So then you get this. Maybe this goes on top of it. I wonder if it's a layering die. You cut this out, and then you cut this one out and put it on top in 2 different colors, maybe 2 different greens. I'll have to play with that. And then you get a lot of different pine cones, a solid image, and then an overlay. So that is going to be a lot of fun to play with. Yeah, there's 2 sets of dies in there, and that's for this greeting stamp set. So that you can just basically do a card with this foliage and then put a greeting on top. Okay? And then this set is, again, the pine cones with some branches. And then these dies, this is also a 2-pack die, so really good value this time. So 2 packs of dies. You get some labels, you get some holly leaves, some foliage. And look at this huge label die. This will be great for on top of a box or a bag. And then look at all these labels in here. And you can cut some holes in and you could thread some ribbon through. So I can't wait to play a lot more with this set here. We're going to use some of these today. And maybe some of the pine cones. So I'm coming to you really raw today because I have not played with this stuff at all. Okay, so here is our, I'll just set these aside for a second. And here are our, here's our sketch. So I've gone ahead and cut, I'm using the two brand new in color greens, the soft succulent and the, yeah, these are our two new greens, soft succulent and evening evergreen. They're absolutely gorgeous greens. And then I want to show you the paper. The paper is really exciting. So you get 2 sheets of each. Excuse me. So there's some, those 2 greens are mixed in here. And there's a little bit of watercoloring in the background, like soft, sort of looks like clouds. They're not clouds, but you know what I mean? It's just soft texture in the background. And then there's this side, which is just luscious. I love this side. Look how pretty those greens are together. I think there's another green in here, maybe Pear Pizzazz. Let's see what colors are in here. I haven't made up my sampler sheet yet. You've got Calypso Coral, Cherry Cobbler, Crumb Cake, Early Espresso, Evening Evergreen, Garden Green, and Pear Pizzazz. Yes, there's 4 greens in here. Well, Soft Sea Foam is kind of a green too. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 greens. Isn't that fun? And Cherry Cobbler. You could do Real Red as well. Yeah, so lots of greens in this set. Yeah, so this is the Garden Green here, and this is the Pear Pizzazz. So pretty. Okay, then there's this, and I love these little bits of white in here, like little snowflakes. That's very, they just did some splattering on there. And then there's this side, a whole bunch of little pine cones. You could even cut this with a circle die. This would be kind of pretty. Okay, and then there's this very soft, these are all little holly bits in here, holly berries and holly leaves in here. I don't know if that camera's picking that up very well. And then here's the other side. Now, I wasn't keen on this until I looked in the catalog and they had a couple of projects made and it actually looked really nice. But I wasn't sure about this. It looks like there's a bit of pink in the background. But looking at the whole sheet, I wasn't that keen on it, but we'll see what happens when we start working with some projects. And then this is a whole bunch of pine cones, and it's got kind of like a wood grain background on there, like a birch background. And then I love this. Look at this. This is so cool. You could cut these into strips, and you could do one of those scrappy cards, or you could do these strips and put them on the insides of your cards down the side. And then this is really pretty, just a whole bunch of leaves in the different greens. I love that. And then look at this background. Isn't that pretty? I love that, the combination of colors in that. This almost looks like Pool Party, but there is, I didn't see Pool Party in here. Was there a Pool Party? I don't think so. It's probably Soft Sea Foam. Yeah. But that's really pretty too. And then look at this one. This is kind of fun. Bunch of little baubles. Very sweet. I love the color combination. Peaches and pinks and reds in there. And then check out, this is another one of my favorites. I think this is really pretty too. Oh, welcome, Yvette. Okay, so we've got some new people watching today, which is really exciting. I hope you enjoy. All right, so those are the papers. So let's get started with our designing. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing, but I've cut out my pieces for my sketch. So basically when you work with a sketch, it gives you kind of a layout for your design, and you just have to then decide on what colors do you want to use, what stamp set do you want to use, what theme, is it birthday, is it Christmas, what is it? And then you cut out the little elements. And it doesn't mean that you have to do it exactly the same. If you're a brand new stamper, you may want to stick exactly with the pattern because you feel a little not very confident in changing it up. But as you progress, and as you do more creating, you will gain the confidence to then start moving things around and changing it up. All right, so what I did was I decided to use our darker green, our Evening Evergreen, as my card base. So I'm just going to give this a fold, and I'll bring out my bone folder and give this a nice burnish. Okay, so there's our card base. And then I decided to use this really pretty paper with a bit of red as my 4 by 5 1/4 inch. So your card base always starts out as, well, for this portrait style card, this is 5.5 by 8.5. So it's half a sheet of our regular cardstock, which is 8.5 by 11. Okay, and then you score it at 4 1/4. To get your fold. All right, so then this is 4 by 5 1/4. This is a regular layer for a card, 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, and then I'm going to build up, I'm either going to stamp or cut out some of those pine cones. So this is the center piece. And then there's a piece here that's 4 1/4. I actually cut my card base wrong, didn't I? Yeah, you could either do a 4 1/4 by 11, which means it's a top fold card, or you can do it the way I just did it. So I hope I didn't confuse you. So card base, let's just give you some basics. Card base can either start with 5.5 by 8.5, and then you score at 4 1/4. Okay, and that gives you a regular portrait orientation, or you turn it sideways and now it's a landscape card, okay, which is called like a tent fold because it stands up like that, okay. Or your other option for a card base is you do a 4 1/4 by 11 inches and you score at 5.5 inches, okay. So now you've got a kind of a longer, more narrow piece, 4 1/4 by 11, and you fold that in half, and then you get the same thing. You can either sit it sideways or you can sit it portrait ways. So those are your card bases, okay? So if that helps you, if you're brand new, these are your basic 2 card bases that you can create, okay? So they had made a mistake on here, and I whited it out, but I should have done 4 1/4 by 11, but I kind of didn't. Sorry. All right, so now, so now we have this piece here, which is 2.5 by 4 1/4. So I cut the soft succulent out, and I wanted to show you another new, we have a brand new embossing folder. I love embossing folders because they add texture. This one is called Timber. So it is a fantastic wood grain. And it's one of those 3D folders, so it gives you really, really nice impressions. Okay, so I will take that over to the embossing machine and put some embossing on that piece. I think that will look really, really pretty. Okay, and okay, and then we have 2 ribbons. This is in the annual catalog. This is our Real Red Satin ribbon. It's 3/8 of an inch satin ribbon. It's got a bit of a stitching edge to it. Very, very pretty. So that is one of our ribbons. And then they're bringing back this sheer ribbon. So this is going to be in the new holiday catalog. This sheer ribbon. So this was from last year and they brought it back, which is great because I love this ribbon. So you've got 2 ribbons that you can choose from. They also decided to bring back these gems. These were called, or are called, the Wonderful Gems. So they are red and clear with gold speckles inside. I mean, they are just really pretty. I don't know if the camera picks that up, but they're really glittery inside. Very, very pretty. So you can add those. These will make great little holly berries, I think. Okay, so I'm going to try and incorporate all that. Now, I've already put out my foliage, and I thought to see, these should match up with some dies, I'm hoping. I think they do. So let's have a look. So we have, that's way too big. Oh, they're all too big. So I think maybe these are stamped, or you just cut some out. I'm thinking I should have played with this a bit more before I came online, but I haven't had time to do that. So, okay, so yeah, these kind of cut out. So maybe I'll just cut these out with the cardstock. Or, oh, maybe there's some over here. I think this cuts this one out. Yeah, okay. And is there one for this big one? Maybe this one. Yeah, it takes a while to familiarize yourself with a brand new stamp set and dies to find out what matches, because it doesn't come with instructions. And then here's a pine cone. Yes, it does not come with instructions. So there you go. We'll see how we make out. All right. How is everybody doing? All right, so here I've got a piece of our basic white scrap, and I'm going to do this foliage in a couple of the greens. So let's do this tall one. We'll do one of these tall ones. Oh, hang on, I better get out my silicone mat. So when you're using these photopolymer stamps, you want to make sure you have some cushion underneath it. So you can pull out your Stampin' Pierce mat, which many people who purchased from Stampin' Up! For quite a while already have, or you can use the silicone mat. So let's stamp this. Ooh, that's really dark. So maybe I'll stamp off. Stamping off the ink gives you another shade. You see that? Which is going to be very similar to the Soft Succulent, I think. I've already got ink on my fingers. And let's open up this one and see. So how many of you are crafting this morning? Carol is crafting. Anybody else? Let's do this one in the Soft Succulent. Yeah, see, it's a watercolor look, so it's not a solid image. I like that. It gives it some texture when it's not a solid image like that. And I need an extra piece of white. So my craft room is going to be painted the week of the, well, next week, I think they're coming in to paint. And the company that fixed the outside of our house, they're going to do the painting, because our other painters who we hired to do the exterior of the house and the inside of the house, they don't start until October. And I said to my husband, I can't wait till October to put my craft room together. That's just going to be way too long. So now I get to decide on color of my craft room. I want to get rid of this Tuscan Sunset and do something a bit different. Okay, pine cone. We're going to do this in the Early Espresso. So I'm working with a very small piece as the focal point. This is the focal point. So I'm going to cut this out and then put the leaves around it. Okay, so I'm going to close my ink pads here, and then I'm going to bring in my mini machine. Hey, good morning, Judy. Yes, yeah, you can just sit back and watch and see what I do, and then you can create later. Sometimes it's good just to watch. I very often just watch a video and then I create afterwards, because I don't, you know, if you're crafting, your head's down and you may miss something. Okay, where's my machine? Here we go. All right, so here is our adorable little cut and emboss machine. I love this little machine because I can bring it right to my desk. So I need plate number 3 and 2 number 1s because we're cutting. No, my mistake, 2 number 2s. Okay, all right, now let's cut out this. So let's put 1 acrylic plate down. And let's put the pine cone on top. Whatever you want to do is fine with me. I'm just glad you're here. And for those of you who are new, if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments. I'll get back to you later with that, or you can send me a private message and I will answer questions. Okay, let's run this through. Yeah, I'm not sure that this stand gives me as much flexibility. I have to play with it a little bit more. I know a lot of demonstrators use this, so I'll just have to play a bit more. Okay, so that cut out a nice looking pine cone, I think. Hope you can see that. And you can experiment and do the pine cones in different shades of brown if you like. And you can totally change it up. I mean, you could do red pine cones. You could do pink pine cones. You could do blue pine cones. I mean, you can do anything that you want. Okay. Now, the thing about the mini is that it is more narrow. The platform, I think, is about 3.5 inches wide. So you kind of have to work with narrow cardstock so that it goes through. So I've just... I should move up a bit. I don't think you can see me. Let's move these inks aside. Yeah, I think my other stand gives me more desk room because it's a higher stand. So let's try this out. I know I didn't ask permission ahead of time, ladies, but I'm really glad that you're letting me kind of work through this. It's good to get feedback. So for those of you who have watched me before, if you liked the other camera angle, I can certainly change back. Lena is here. Hi, Lena. Welcome. Sharon, you shared my video. That's very sweet of you. Thank you so much. Okay, here is one leaf. Look how beautiful that is. Now, also, you know, we often stamp on white, but you can stamp on the same color cardstock. Okay, so you can take the, for example, you could do early espresso on early espresso cardstock, or a different cardstock, like a lighter brown. You don't always have to stamp on white. Just to let you know that. We get into these patterns or habits of the way we do things, but you can switch it up. Okay, so keep that in mind. So this little mini machine, if you don't have, traditionally it was called a Big Shot, a Sizzix Big Shot, but now Stampin' Up! Has designed their own. So we have a large format and a smaller format. And believe it or not, this small format cuts out about 9% of all of our dies. Okay. The only thing you can't do with this for embossing is, for example, I have this this embossing folder, well, this won't go through this small machine, but it'll go through the larger machine, okay? So, and yet we have designed, Stampin' Up! Has designed some narrow folders for this machine. So you just have to, if you only can afford one machine, this one is less expensive, and so you just want to make sure that you purchase things that are going to go through that machine. Okay, but if you've been stamping for years, more than likely you already have a bigger machine. Okay, so now I've got these two leaves cut out, the two larger leaves, and now I want to cut out this smaller leaf here. I think this cuts this one out. Yes, it does. Okay. So let's throw this through. Oh, that's very pretty. Let's do one more. I feel like I should have done, well, I'm gonna work with 3. It's like flower arranging. You arrange in odd numbers with your flowers and your foliage. So keep that in mind when you're designing as well. Here we go. So I'm getting excited. I am doing, for the first time, I am doing an online class via Zoom with 2 other demonstrators here in Victoria. And we're doing the Sweet as a Peach. And we're already talking about offering a class for Christmas. So as soon as this one is over, and then we will advertise for a Christmas one, which should be a lot of fun. So basically, by combining, working with other demonstrators, you get a few different styles and techniques. So this class will feature 9 total projects, 6 cards, and 3 gift packaging ideas. And so we'll probably do exactly the same idea for the Christmas one. Okay, have I cut everything out that I need? I think I have. So let's set this machine aside. So we are still doing online classes and probably will continue because some of us have clients out of province. As far as doing in-person classes, I am just waiting until we hear more of double vaccinations. I just had my second one. I've just gone through 1 full week after having been vaccinated. So I think once people are double vaccinated and have done their 2 to 4 week antibody building, then I may do some classes back in my studio, which will be utterly fantastic. All right, let's bring in our card sketch here. Okay, so I'm going to put my card sketch up here so you can see it. Yeah, you know what? As I'm working and I'm looking at my iPad to see it, everything is reversed. So I got to figure out how, because it's confusing me too. I have to figure out how to get it the other way around. Didn't have that problem with the other stand. So I think it's because my camera is upside down. I think that's my problem. So, yeah, it's a bit disorienting this morning. All right, let's glue this down. And so often with our designer series papers, you go to glue it, you look at this side and you go, oh my gosh, I really like that better. But I do like a bit of red in there. So I'll stick with my original design, and let me grab my tape runner. And we'll stick this on. Oops. Okay, now we've got this piece here. I'm going to just run to my bigger machine and I'm going to emboss this out. So just entertain yourselves for a couple of seconds and I'm back. So check this out. I hope you can see this in the camera. There is the beautiful wood grain. Very, very pretty. All right, so this is going to go on here and it's the same width as the card base. And I'm going to allow a little bit of the color underneath. Okay, now before I attach that, I'm going to do something a bit different. If I had done the 4 1/4 by 11, the longer sheet, I could have wrapped the ribbon around the edges of the card. But because I have a fold here, I can't wrap the ribbon around. So what I'm going to do is wrap the ribbon around this piece. All right, so I could either use the sheer ribbon, so you guys can tell me which you prefer. I could use the sheer ribbon or I could use this solid ribbon on here. So can you see that? Let me know which one you think is the better one. Solid. Barbara says the solid ribbon. Lori says the sheer ribbon. Okay, I need one more vote. Solid or sheer? Solid. All right, we'll go with solid. Thank you, ladies. That always happens. That always happens. Okay, solid. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of tape on each side here. Okay, and then I'm going to wrap this around. Whoops. Like so. So at least with me being in my craft room now, I can do these lives more consistently. So I'll be back Thursday night at 8 p.m. for another live video. Now what I might do is put a little bit of a, I'm going to put a glue dot underneath here. Whoops. So I have to tell you, when you dismantle a craft room, even though I do clean, maybe not as often as I should, but when you move the furniture, you cannot believe the dust everywhere. Like underneath, is it possible? Underneath the legs of the tables, there was little dust bunnies everywhere. So it's good to give it a good clean. Okay, so I'm going to put this on here like so. Now I often, when I'm gluing down anything that's textured, I like to use my Tombow glue. How many other votes did I get? Solid, 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 solid. Oh, well, I guess that was a good choice then. I can use that sheer ribbon on another project, and I've used it a lot. It's very pretty, so. Okay, let's stick this down right on the edge here. And hold that down for a few seconds. Now I'm just going to check and see if it overhangs a tiny bit. It is overhanging just a tiny smidge, but nothing to really worry about. Okay, so that's on there now. So we've done this piece here. And now we just have to make our focal point. What's our time here? Oh, 10 to 11. I don't like keeping you past an hour. But I think it's going longer just because of all the camera angles. All right, so what I basically wanted to do was just to build something up on here. So I was going to use this darker green and then maybe a couple of these. So I kind of need 3 pieces, something like that. And I'm not sure I like the white background, so that's something else to think about. I could do a different color. Like maybe I should bring in Pear Pizzazz for this background. What do you guys think? I think the white's a bit stark. Let's pull this forward and tell me what you think. Oh, it's not that bad now. What do you think? White, or should I change the background color? Let me grab some Pear Pizzazz. Oh, I don't know if I like that. No, I don't like that. Okay, let's just stick with what we've got, because otherwise I have to cut another piece. Okay, so yeah, we're just going to glue these down. So let me grab my Tombow glue, and we'll do this one first, and then we'll pop the pine cone up on dimensionals, I think. These leaves are nice and thick, so it's easy to use your Tombow glue on these. Yes, that's another good idea. I could have put a border around the square. Absolutely. So if you guys make this design, post it here in the comments, and then we'll just see what you guys did. How you changed either up the design and of course the colors and your focal point, how you managed to do the focal point. That's what I love about card sketches, is that you come up with all of your own ideas and then we share them. Okay, I need some dimensionals. I love our dimensionals. I think they're the best on the market because they're not really high. Some dimensionals are quite thick. These go through the mail very nicely. So there's our pine cone. Okay, there we go. And now we're going to glue this down on here. So I'm going to use Tombow for this just because it's got to go over that ribbon. Now it's a little bit higher on the sketch, but it does cross over the ribbon. And then you get to see some of that nice texture. And I'm thinking about adding a greeting on the bottom. So I want to leave some room on this bottom section here. Okay. So I've got room down here to put a greeting because the greetings are just beautiful. And there is a there's so many dies in this set. I think this is way too long though. Let's see. Well, that would work. Let's see what greetings are on here. Magic is in the air. 'Tis the season. 'Tis the season. Magic is in the air. Merry Christmas season's greetings. Have a holly jolly. That's too big. I love this. Love and joy come to you, and may it last the whole year through. May this be a Christmas to remember and cherish. Last year was certainly a Christmas to remember. I don't know that we cherished it, though, when we couldn't see our friends and much of our family. But this year, we're hoping it's going to be totally different. Maybe I'll just do this 'Tis the Season and use this smaller let's see. I've changed my mind. I'm going to do Magic is in the Air. Because it's not necessarily Christmas card. I mean, pine cones and foliage, not necessarily Christmas. There's no holly on here. So, and then I think I'll use this die here. Yes, that should fit. Okay, now I need a scrap of white. And I need an acrylic block. Magic is in the Air. And I think I'll do this in the Early Espresso. There we go. And then I need to bring in the big shot, or the little shot. Hey, that's what I'm going to start calling it. I mean, it's called the Stampin' Cut and Emboss Machine. The mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss Machine. But the other one was, you know, used to be called the Big Shot. Maybe I'll call this the Little Shot. Okay, let's center this die on here. And put my little Post-it flag on there. Hold it in place. And I need my other plate. It's over here. And run this through. Oh, you like the pine cone arrangement? Good. Yeah, it's very pretty. Oh my gosh, there's going to be so much to do, to play with this set. Okay, so here's our greeting. And I will pop this up on some mini dimensionals. We have large and small ones. Magic is in the Air. There we go. All right, now several other things we can still do. Guess what time it is? What time is it, ladies? It's Wink of Stella time. So I'm going to put this Wink of Stella. This is a very, very fine glimmer. It's not really glitter, it's a glimmer. It's like a lip gloss with just a little bit of a sheen to it. It's very, very pretty. Catches the light beautifully. It's like when you go into a jewelry store, they have special lights to make the diamonds sparkle way more than in any other environment. And this is what this, if you get this under, what are those lights called? I have them in my kitchen. Can't think of what those lights are called right now. Okay, there is our, yeah, this pine cone would be really nice done on like maybe crumb cake or a lighter brown color stamped. Okay, and then of course, what is a card without some extra little something something. So I'm going to Yeah, I'm gonna do something with this white space. I'm gonna add a couple of these red gems here. There we go. Okay, ladies, there's our card. Oh my gosh. Very pretty.